The co-defendants um, on his way to the restroom attempted to pass something to Mr. Williams, who immediately turned it over to the deputy. Well, we don't know what it is. Did not know what it was, turned it over to the deputy right away.
Well, it's good, Rizzle fam. Looks like Young Thug and his co-defendant thought it was a good idea to make a drug deal during their court hearing. And now the defendant reveals what he really gave Thugger. The trial of Young Thug is long awaited. Man, things are heating up. Controversy around him in the last 6 months has been unparalleled. Young Thug and his co-defendant had to show up in front of a judge in an open court for a hearing. And for some reason, Thugger handed over some drugs that were immediately confiscated. So how in the world did that actually happen? And what were the consequences? Well, let's get straight to all the nasty details. Begin with, as you all know, Young Thug is in jail and that he and a bunch of other dudes from the YSL gang are basically waiting for their trials to begin. YSL was slammed with a RICO indictment last year, and it's been quite a show since then. It's not confirmed quite yet, but the prosecutors are making a case against YSL, accusing them of being a criminal gang, not only a record label. Plenty of other things happened since then, and we covered them all. From the poor conditions that Gunna and Thugger live in behind bars, to all the plea deals that were taken in the last few weeks. The YSL members went through some difficult times. However, now it's just becoming ridiculous. What we seen happen in court last week was straight up silly. Just last week, we saw Young Thug and co-defendant of his called Khalif Adams do a drug deal in front of the entire courtroom. A video showed up online at 11 Live last week where you can clearly see the co-defendant standing up, walking towards Young Thug, shaking his hand and putting something inside of it. He asked for a trip to the bathroom, and on his way, he decided to stop and hand out something to King Slime. Given that the deputy was literally next to him, he saw what went down and immediately approached Young Thug in order to take whatever was given to him. It's not been confirmed yet, but we do believe that the substance that Thug received was most likely Percocet pills, marijuana, and tobacco. Regardless, the deputy told the judge what happened, and then later it got pretty weird. Allegedly, the co-defendant was the owner of these pills, and he swallowed the rest quickly after he realized that the cops were onto him. Concerned about his health, the judge quickly called off the court hearing, and the co-defendant was taken to the hospital, where the medics made sure that he doesn't OD. The judge, in this case, stated publicly in front of everyone present that contraband was yet again brought into the courtroom, and that this is unacceptable behavior.
This is the third time that we've had contraband introduced into this in this space.
One of the more notable criminal defense attorneys and prosecutors by the name of Daryl Cohen also commented on the fiasco that took place last week. He told the world that this type of thing is a disgrace that makes you wonder how in the world are these people allowed to get away with it.
There's no excuse for this happening once, twice, but 3 times? Really?
Fans online started getting into the discussion too. Some say that the deal happened because the co-defendant had absolutely nothing to lose, while others are starting to doubt if there's something going on behind the scenes. One person wrote, "A man already serving a life sentence for murder has nothing to lose as far as freedom is concerned." Another guy is plain shocked to see that something like this is even possible. He commented, "This dude is serving life and walking around the courtroom easier than I could." So the reason why people are talking about the co-defendant as if he's got nothing to lose is that he's already serving a life sentence. Khalif Adams got a life sentence without parole for committing a murder. To make things even worse for him, now he's facing additional charges because of this drug deal. His attorney, Tiombre Calland, reached out about what happened in court that day. He reveals that Khalif Adams is an innocent man and that he's got nothing to do with the drugs that were found with him. He goes on to claim, on behalf of Mr. Adams, these allegations are simply that, mere statements made by the state in an effort to thwart the lengthiness of the jury selection process. Mr. Adams maintains his innocence and looks forward to the conclusion of this trial. As for Young Thug, it seems so far that Thugger is not facing new charges. He may just have ducked the bullet with this one. His attorney Keith Adams talked about the incident one day after it took place. He said that Young Thug has got absolutely nothing to do with the co-defendant and that he's in no way responsible. He said,
The reality is Mr. Williams had nothing to do with what went on in the courtroom on yesterday. One of the co-defendants on his way to the restroom attempted to pass something to Mr. Williams, who immediately turned it over to the deputy.
He did not know it was allegedly Percocet?
Did not know. Well, we don't know what it is. Did not know what it was, turned it over to the deputy right away. The deputies took action. The individual who had the contraband, not Mr. Williams, was taken into the back, where I'm told he ingested whatever he had to be taken to the hospital.
But it's rather obvious that one or perhaps both of them are in fact responsible and guilty of smuggling drugs into a courtroom and trying to exchange them. Some fans online are making fun of Young Thug, saying that he's ready to cop a perk in front of the cops, but not take a plea. Thug said, "I'll cop a perk before I cop a plea." One man simply couldn't believe that this is on camera. camera, and yet they both claim they have nothing to do with it. Doing this in court isn't that crazy, but doing it in court with all these cameras is insane. This whole situation that we got going on with Young Thug is simply put crazy. This is already one of the wildest cases that we've seen with rappers appearing in court as a result of a RICO case. Regardless of what happens though in the very near future with his trial, people will surely remember his name. But it's also true that he will not be remembered for anything pretty. If he's so desperate and in need of narcotics, then he's having a co-defendant who's basically going to spend the rest of his life in jail, hand him drugs, then that tells you a lot about Young Thug and what he's going through right now. He's obviously having a hard time with withdrawal and his superstar habits, and he hit rock bottom if he's using courtroom hearings as a way to acquire drugs. In any case, we still got to see if he's going to catch yet another charge to his name because of what happened last week or not. If so, he might be in for even longer than we thought he would originally. What are y'all thoughts on Young Thug, his co-defendant, and the fact that they literally made a drug deal happen inside of a courtroom? You think Thugger is going to have a tougher time during this trial because of this, or do you think that it won't make much of a difference? Let us know in the comments section below how you feel about this whole wild situation. If you liked our video,